Hello, Carl.
Hello, Johannes.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in not my band's rehearsal room because me and my band live in different countries, but I'm in a rehearsal room that I used to scream without my wife tell me to stop. So doing my thing. No, it's all good.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I always appreciate you taking the time to do this, particularly as Avatar are always busy, it would seem. Are you doing well these days? Because obviously it was only a little while ago that you caught the dreaded C word.
Yeah, no, yeah. It wasn't so bad in my case. I am vaccinated. I presume we have good reason to presume that is why I did as well as I did. I didn't even break into a fever. No, so and I kept my taste and everything. Like it's the worst part was being isolated and not continuing to tour. And actually, I guess the isolation part. I just saw some friends who have a past which includes being in actual prison, in actual isolation, and in countries that don't respect human rights very much. And they asked, "How was it?" They're like, "Well, prison." But I guess I was in a Norwegian prison because it was a hotel room with room service and a window. But nevertheless, it was that was the weird part. I've never been alone for 10 days straight before.
No, it's such a unique environment. I'm glad that you got through it okay.
Thank you.
That's all that matters. Aside from that, what an incredible year it's been for you. It feels like a very long year, but we're talking about a phenomenal feat of live streams, the shows that you've been able to do, the releases, of course. Now, considering the limitations and the COVID-related hurdles that have been thrown in your path since the release of Hunter-Gatherer last year, are you satisfied with what you've been able to accomplish this year?
I guess, yeah, I guess that's a right way to put it. It's because, of course, we have all been dealing with this on different levels. And I don't know, every time I see someone suggesting that this era in history should be when you take the time to discover yourself and understand what you want to do and reevaluate, I'm kind of saying, fuck you, die, and sink your body into a big tub of acid or something, because this is very hard and has been very hard for a lot of people. And if they have to do 20 anxiety wanks in a day to make it through, then they should. That being said, has, in my case, and the band's case, all in all, I guess, been fairly constructive. What we have done with the time, like you said, we did the streams. A lot of music has been written. A lot of, I don't know, like one of the things, like for me personally, was to make it through day by day in the most isolated part of, because now things are a bit different, but last year was crazy, right? Like where we were really isolated, and physical exercise was one of the things that I'm gonna do this now regularly, and I kept that going. That was good for me. The writing was good, and aside of the personal things, when having a business meeting with a band, you have to say things like, okay, we have to try, okay, we're gonna win COVID, whatever that means, but it was to go, to be the first ones, exactly, but to be among the first ones to go on a first European bands that went on a US tour. And we did 24 shows out of 30, so that was good,
pretty good.
And being able to put up music, write music, to do all kinds of band things, and we did, and I guess it gave some room to reflect on how we want to do things. I'm sure we will in the upcoming months be able to reflect on things we learned that will be useful also after the fact. But I would have preferred to not have had this happen. But as far as it goes, I think we did as good of a job as anyone.
considering when you weigh up what Avatar was able to do against what many other bands have struggled to do, I think it's just when you compare those, you think, okay, you've done as much as you possibly can do. Last time we spoke, it was during the height of I guess lockdown era, that period, and you talked about the physical exercise then. So that's something that's still been keeping you going strong.
Yeah, I guess it's been one of those things. I guess. Yeah, no, I don't have a good elaborated word answer to that. It's no, I
that's all
but it was important, you know. I got a meditation app and I did that for a month, but working out has stayed, and pushing, where actually now when the US tour came, that I think it was one of those things like, okay, I'm gonna be really, really ready for when the time comes, and the cardio was a big part of that. And I have a little app with a little heart monitor things you put on your chest and all that, and it said after a while, it did say your level is elite, and it meant a great deal to me. And I took a screenshot and sent to a friend, and he said, "Whoop the fucking do." I don't care about, you know, why would he care? I wouldn't care if he did it. But you know, so no, that helped. And to be, I guess, I never was the most disciplined person, and I guess I fell in love with this idea of, you know, basically this profession is to run away and join the circus, and it was escaping from a lot of things, I guess. But then after a while, it caught up with me, like, I really, structures are great sometimes, you know, like this thing you want to do, and you have maybe a list of things you need to achieve to reach that ultimate goal or whatever you want to do, and like, okay, I guess Mondays are you know, pull-ups, and Tuesdays are you go for a jog, you know, or whatever, and schedule like, okay, I can, you know, work on the bass lines in the living room, but I need to scream somewhere. So I guess, okay, Tuesdays I am in the rehearsal room, and I always, okay, I guess I should carry around a notebook with me. All this, I don't know, it's in a very unhealthy time on planet Earth, as far as my own, you know, the stuff that in my own little tiny universe, I grew some better habits, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, it's all good. It's important as well to note that however you were improving yourself internally, when you were portraying yourselves externally as Avatar towards fans and stuff like that, that you were helping them in some way. And I want to take you back to January 2021, and of course the series of Avatar Ages shows that took place over that 4-week period. It feels like a lifetime ago, but still in the memory. Do you think you guys killed the live stream idea by simply setting the bar so high to an almost unreachable height?
I think there were a couple of others really good ones, and I have my personal favorites, which is shaped of the biases of my own taste. There were a couple of that I know were good that I didn't see, but among those I saw, two favorites that stand-up favorites were Behemoths, the first, not the recent one, but the one back then in the church ruin thing, and then various versions of what Devin Townsend did. And I think, to me, those were interesting to compare because they were, of course, vastly different. The bands are very different in their expression and what is being said and why. But I felt like they both kind of hit the nail on the head of whatever I perceive those artists to be. They found a way to express that in that environment, like, and of course, it's being in the ruins of an old church and dealing with fire and tits. Behemoth, Devin Townsend, being in some awkward green screen environment with built by the Unreal Engine, and have Steve Vai do, I guess, guitar solo dressed as a pirate. Yes, perfect. You know, so it's all about whatever, you know, make, and those were lessons that we brought with us when doing avatars. Like, okay, so who are we? What are we? What's the ultimate expression of that within the means of the budget we have, and ability and all that. And I do feel we did that. And more than anything, we surprised ourselves. I remember, like, going to the dressing room and afterwards, the backstage, and kind of like, yeah, that felt like a show. It feels like we did a show. Wow, there was no one there. There was a camera team and light tech and those people, but it felt like we did a show somehow, and that was really special. And I think that came across somewhat, and that was important.
Do you have a particular favorite of the four? Memories, Madness, Illusions, or Dreams?
I guess Memories, because that was with the most stuff that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. And playing through the Hunter Gatherer from start to finish is also a thing that, like, we wouldn't have done that otherwise. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But just dressing like we used to dress when we were 22 years old, and do the whole, like, if there's that segment of people that are into what we do to the extent where they know the deep cuts for real and has spent some time with the real early material, and also people who been there since day one for real, but of course then we got our ducks in the row. We did Black Walls, and that kind of a lot of things have happened since, but it's more evidently on the same journey, and some songs from that part become a staple in what people define as Avatar. But we do have those 3 albums of the awkward puberty stage of the band or what have you, and that part is to us is of course just as vibrant and valid and existent as any other part of our past. It's just that less people heard us back then. It's connected with less people at the time, but in terms of the inner circle, it was we did exactly the same thing we are doing now, just working real hard to do the best version of Avatars we can. Yeah. So as such, it means all of those things to us, and it carries because we don't get to spend time with that part of our catalog so much. The memories become even stronger, because Let It Burn, I do remember different instances when we worked on that song, but that's a song that has kept on living. The last time Let It Burn was alive and vibrant was on the last US tour now, but then you have the things that have been a bit frozen in time, if that makes sense, the really early things. And as such, it became, I got very nostalgic about it, and the whole format of the show invited those feelings of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like we did, like there was this intermission video thing of like just whatever footage we had from shows and outings. And I was the one who put that together, and I did a little music piece underneath, and on purpose I did that fairly sentimental sounding little 3-chord thing. And then I watched it back once it was done what I had done, and choked up just a little tiny bit, because it gave this opportunity to reflect on all that has been. So for that reason, it was wow, long answer. But memories, because it gave the opportunity to relive things that we don't get to live with from day to day.
The whole experience is just a unique moment in time for Avatar. But one of the things we often hear from those shows that fans ask for more than anything else at this point is effectively, I don't know, like a 4-release vinyl box set of the music from those shows. Any thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, it's so expensive and complicated, and I'm actually okay. So my wife having a history of music journalism, and we still do it together in our podcast, and now does work on her PhD that well, it's in religion studies, and it goes beyond the point of that, but it has, of course, touches of some metal things. That means through her, I get to sit in a in on in a conference situation where, oh my god, what is that label called? The one that signs all the black metal bands. Are they French?
Napalm.
No.
Unique Leader.
No, wait. Silence something on S. It's not that important. Well, a label that has a bunch of black metal stuff and other that are fairly obscure in terms of you won't see anything that they do hitting, the Billboard Hot 100, but I think they make a business out of like what the people that like that kind of thing, we are that kind of thing that they like, and and therefore they're really good at making, for again, fairly obscure music, make really nice vinyl releases, make very good DVD content, make the physical stuff. They go for quality over quantity, and they are able to sell whatever, they make a living out of that with relatively small numbers, but catering to good slice audience who's able to do that. I don't think that we could sell a DVD up to platinum level. And then when we look into the costs and the different region lockings on doing something like that physical, the math, it just doesn't add up where we know confidently that there are enough buyers of that, which is why we now there is avatar ages.com, it stays alive there, so you can still watch it there. Because we realize, if you put it on YouTube for people to rent, YouTube takes 50%. So this is a better way, I guess, to revisit it. No, it's just like, it's a boring business answer to it, but it's
what it is.
To to start up that machine, it's very costly. And we don't know if we would make it back, because I hear the voices of people wanting it, and they are loud, but are they many? Like most people are like me, we are used to now using streaming services for
No, I completely understand that. And as you say, it's a boring business answer, but it is a reality answer, and that's quite important. So you already mentioned, of course, 24 out of 30 dates done in America. The 24 dates, how was it? How was it for you?
Great. Like I let myself choke up for 3 seconds on the first show, then deep breath, because you have to sing and try to remember how to do this. But it was special. We were nervous before the first show. I remember, and now especially John is a terrible poker player. Like whatever he wears his heart on his sleeve. So and we're all a bit shaky, you do weird things before the show that you usually don't do. Like I take the dumbbells and start right before going on stage, like because usually you know how to to keep that ebb and flow of adrenaline and excitement stuff in check, and to tap into it when you need it. But it was kind of out of control. It's like, so I was just lifting weights right before going on stage. It was different. But I remember once, the pre-show, the music got they turn off the music, the room goes dark, and I put on the intro, and people scream, and I turn to John. What's your job? What's your fucking job? What are you fucking working with? Like we have that moment, and it was a big embrace. As we got off the stage, like it was so hard, so special, because again, talking about the cardio and stuff, it doesn't help. It helps, but it doesn't, because it's, and I think this is true if in that as far as doing metal on stage is an athletic endeavor, I think anyone who plays any sport can relate to the thing of like, yeah, you go out for a run and you do your push-ups and you eat a piece of broccoli and you go on bed on time, but you also do have to play the game to get fit for that game, because you need to get mentally used to what it feels like to push yourself and know when to handle when, where is that millisecond of rest?
Yeah.
Where is that breather? You only have those 2 seconds. Okay, back at it and stuff. And I think, in the beginning, like for the first show, it's like, holy shit, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, holy shit, okay, I gotta pause, holy shit, go and say, holy shit, and you just wait through like that. I slept like a baby that night, but then we got into it and it was just good stuff. It was a good tour. It was focused and we were very happy to be there and a lot of COVID scares to deal with and the usual bullshit of the business, but no, it was good. It was good. It got back to normal fairly quickly as far as shows are concerned. Then I only saw American friends over text messages. I had promised myself to make a point out of being more of a tourist this time around, but I said to myself pre-COVID, and of course this was not the tour to do that. We don't mingle right now, but it's fine. We actually I don't think there are as many bands like that around over the age of 17, but we actually do really like each other, and so we were fine.
Glad to hear that you still like each other. As you say, that's a rare thing.
It is. It's crazy, and I don't get it, because this is the coolest, most fun, most rewarding, stupid ass realization of your childhood dream. It's ridiculous in so many ways. If you are in a good crowd, if you're not, you're just away at home sleeping in a bunk, sleeping in a vibrating bed, and you're not in control of when you get to poop or not. Like it's not the best work environment in many ways, but unless you like it, and then it's the greatest thing in the world. But the people around you play such a huge part in that, where I don't know, I have such an utmost respect and appreciation for those fans that I've encountered who do like each other. Like Swedish colleagues, Hardcore Superstar is one of those that were always felt like #relationship goals. That they're, when I've been on the same ferry to Finland as them, every time it's like, okay, they're just as giddy about getting over, crossing the Baltic Sea this time as they've ever been, and I'm aiming for that. But we are a rare breed in that sense, as far as I can tell, which is crazy.
I don't think you're wrong. But thankfully, in this country, we don't have too long to wait for your triumphant return. It's been far too long since Avatar haunted these shores. January 2021. And you're hitting a fair few cities, including our very own London. So for those who are going out into cold January days of 2022, should I say, so January 2021, that was last year. It's 2022, this year. What can we expect from Avatar, particularly after having been cooped up throughout Christmas?
Well, the quotable version would be a live show so potent that all the women will be impregnated and all the men will grow ovaries and be impregnated too. But it's also so potent in testosterone and roughness that everyone will be pregnant and carry and have a beard. It's hormonal in that sense, all over the place. Beside that, what we are doing show-wise now, the way we discussed it while working on it was always that, okay, while we were on tour with Avatar Country and looking forward, was like, okay, Avatar Country is kind of porn in the sense that it's in your face, it's stairs, it's elevators, it's here, it's this big thing on stage, and it's always in your face. And now we made a show that just keeps on growing and growing and growing, and it's based in a more theatrical way of thinking, as in literal the art form theater, meaning like it's, you know, it's more bare bones. There's more room for, I guess, just in terms of how you move and feel on stage, is more, you're more free to improvise, or just, you know, just not every step has to be as scripted, so you're more free, which gives it a different nerve. And if Avatar Country was pornographic, Hunter Gatherer is erotic, meaning you do some of the work yourself, but it's a much more deeper, rewarding experience, you know, instead of sitting in the bathroom stall at work, jacking it. You know, you are participating in a beautiful exchange with other fellow human beings. So it's more intimate, darker, more darkness, more intimacy, more of a proper shared experience, I guess. And in practical terms, what that means is that, you know, in heavy metal, you can always start with the aces high, bam, 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 ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, ba, Bruce jumps, bam, pyro, bam, you know. But we kind of borrow some ideas from some Icelandic hipsters and made a stage show and a light show that keeps on growing and growing and growing, and something new is introduced all the time, you know. So it's you know, like, it's not as much, it's rather than doing the roller coaster, you kind of keep climbing a mountain. It's like the song structure of Stairway to Heaven, you know. It just introduces another beat, another thing that makes it feel, I can't get bigger than this, and then it does.
Sounds spectacular. Can't wait personally. You've made it feel weird though, because myself and my brother will be bringing his daughter / my niece, who's only 8 years old, and this will be the first time she's ever going to see you guys play live, and she adores you guys. So now, now it sounds weird.
Well, there is, you know, but there are. If you're prepubescent, I guess this will hit you differently, as did Kiss when I was a kid, you know.
Of course, yes.
Or Deep Purple, and then you revisit some lyrics about knocking on your back door, and she was a cunning linguist, and like, okay, you know, you can experience on different levels, and we don't necessarily make stuff that is made with kids in mind, but I also feel like the expression is honest enough that it's not harmful. It's not, you know, we're not Barbie dolls. We're not what are we not? We're not Spice Girls.
No,
I
no,
think
you're not.
Actually we probably, whatever message comes across between the cursing and the erotic innuendos, I think there's a core message that will lead to 8-year-old girls who do listen to Avatar. Actually, okay, I got it. Real story. We played Colorado at some point, and after the fact, relatively early in our US touring days, and someone wrote to us afterwards that they had their she was 8 years old, I'm pretty sure. 8-year-old daughter was there at the show and saw Avatar for the first time. On the car ride home, she hadn't said a word, didn't say a word, walks into her bedroom, doesn't say a word, comes into her bedroom, tears down all the Justin Bieber posters.
Wow. Oh,
so
wow.
I mean, as far, you know, yeah, sure. We are adults making adult entertainment, but we're not making pornographical entertainment. We're not making, it's explicit in so many ways, but most of the ways that it's explicit is not in the ways that would get censored in a way anywhere anyway. You know, Satan is present and and all those things. But yeah, I think we are helping raising a good generation of witches, so which I'm proud of.
Oh, absolutely. Your description is always fascinating, in particular how you would how it appeals to so many different age groups as well. I think that's super, super important, because
that's the truth. How heavy, we're not the first heavy metal band that does that, isn't it?
Of course, you brought in Kiss, and that made me laugh, because I'm near 40 now, so I grew up not understanding a lot of content until I got older.
Exactly.
Sonic Assault, Mastiff, Veil of Maya, credible support bands. How exciting is it for you personally to be on such an extensive tour with these kind of bands, ones that don't fit the Avatar mold?
Well, we have given up trying to find a band that fits the Avatar mold because we are weirder than we meant to be. Like, in many ways, we aren't. I mean, like, I do listen to electro fusion, improvisational jazz, shama blah blah. You know, I do, but and clearly we're not that. There's a chorus and there's a steady beat and there's something to clap along to. But at the same time, the expression, whatever we're doing, I don't know what molds that would be, and so they're all different. But yeah, no, Veil of Maya is very cool. Sonic Assault, also their particular bias where, you know, one of the guitar players, well, one of the singer, he used to be a guitar student of a former member, Simon, and the other guitar player, he like one of our, like, the whole band, like, best in our high school, whatever the circles we were running in, our, you know, best buddies at the time, he's the little brother of one of those girls in those circles, you know. So it's total nepotism going on, but we're really excited of finally getting to use our position of power to to annoy someone into this world, you know. And I think they are great, which otherwise it would have been awkward to turn them down, but we would have, you know. They're here on their own merits in the sense that they're awesome.
Yeah.
But I get particular joy in being, you know, in the nepotism of it.
Of course. You guys as well. I mean, we got to talk about the singles. You've been dropping like crazy recently. You know, Going Hunting, Barren Cloth Mother, So Sung the Hollow, and of course, most recently as well, Construction of Souls. You kind of had fans second guessing and trying to work out what on earth was going with Avatar. Is this part of an album? They're going to release an album. They need just singles earlier on. So to answer this question, what kind of prompted you to take this standalone single approach? Because it's not something you've ever really done before.
No, but it's like we're working all the way back to, you know, putting together the music for Hunter Gatherer. You have great songs that just, you know, we did an album and the album needs to feel like an album.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just did an interview where I would say, like, we put together a beautiful black suit and then we have these gorgeous brown shoes lying around, which is, you know, nothing wrong with those brown shoes, but they don't go with the black suit.
Yeah.
So that is what this is. This are now a sequence of brown shoes being released. And I kind of love it because, well, now we got the Get Back documentary out that kind of reminds me of that. But prior to that, I saw something with Elvis. But you know, you got your Strawberry Fields and songs like that, or Penn Lane, where it's not part of an album. It's not part of a bigger picture. The song in itself is the big picture on its own. I mean, I really love the album format, especially if an album is around, well, tops 47 minutes.
Okay.
And you know, usually, you know, I know I love a lot of albums that are longer than that, but in principle, in hindsight, that's just dumb. I like, you know, I like the album format. That being said, for a big chunk of history of the past, and now again we come full circle with streaming. It's not albums, it's songs. And by treating some songs with the love of letting them be singles, I think in a way also elevates the value of the album once you do an album. And having the option of doing, here's a song.
Yeah. Because
it's easy now. Like we do, boom, bam, bam, here's the song. It's a great song, isn't it? Yeah, I fucking love this song. Do you love this song? We all love the song. Good. Boom. You know, that's, which album is Hound Dog by Elvis Presley on?
Oh, good.
But what I'm getting at is with Elvis stuff, it clearly doesn't matter what album it was on. No one wrote an album then. they did songs, and at some point maybe they were released on an LP. But the album, as the album we know it, that's since '65, I guess. Rubber Soul, something like that. And then it goes into, peaking into '70s and '80s. And then when we reach '90s, we got the CD, and suddenly albums become 74 minutes long, which is stupid. Especially since everyone did it, and filler tracks became a whole different level when you suddenly got 30 minutes more bullshit, and it's the pop acts did it. Who needed 74 minutes of Ace of Base or whatever? It's stupid. And then the streaming culture, the whole MP3 started with piracy, but now we got whatever we got going on now. It kind of feels like we're back in the '50s in a way, which elevates the song. But we have the album there as an option. But if you want to write an album, you better aim for, I don't know, fucking Thriller, man. I guess it should be the level of ambition. I don't know. We're gonna fail miserably every time, but we will continue to write the next Thriller.
Well, that's all you can do. The idea is, well, you always dream and hope is that the next one will be, as you say, Thriller or thereabout as much as possible. But you must be quite pleased, though, that every single so far has had a phenomenal reaction.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with it. Yeah, no, I'm glad, and I think especially now, Construction of Souls, I was particularly loved, I guess. No, but actually, even Going Hunting, that was really cool, because again we had the great scheme of naming the tour Going Hunting before anyone knew there was a song, and there was synthesis in every tour trailer and stuff. There was a synthesized version of that song in there, some part of the song. We did a whole thing, and then boom came the video on the first day of the tour. By day 3 we are in New York City, and people know the lyrics.
Oh wow.
And yeah, that was one of those moments, like it took 3 days, and if I only had a friend like you, and that happened, and that was amazing. So that got a lot of love. I know we, at some point we do have to play Baron Cloth Mother live as well. I see, because that was also very loved. And then I guess we confused people a little bit with So Sang the Hollow, but that was always the point. And when an acoustic thing comes out on its own, people try to deal with it on its own merits, and how should that land, like, but I kind of like that it does that at the end of the day. Well, now we
as a fan, we still want to be challenged by Avatar. We don't want you to keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. If you've got an idea and you've got this style that you want to do, we want to hear it.
Yeah, and I guess that is the one thing we can promise you. Until we have chased everyone away, we will keep changing. That is I keep being a fanboy of Dan Townsend continuously throughout my life. It keeps meaning so much, and the big thing that keeps the integrity of that, the music always reflect where he is at the time. Personally, and that leads the way of whatever he ends up doing commercially, career wise, and whatever his output is. But always the starting point is, wow, I don't want to have kids. Oh wow, I'm a dad. Oh, I'm 22 and disappointed at the world. Wait a minute, I'm almost 50. Wow, I take my family on vacation. Pina coladas. Like whatever's going on really feeds directly into the music in so many ways. And I think that's the way. I also believe that that's the key to longevity. Like you have to try for those things. Like as crazy as we think, I don't know, between Saint Anger and Lulu, and then so lukewarm stuff. You say what you want about Metallica, but it would have been even worse if it was Ride the Lightning and then Ride the Schmeichming and then Ride the Bleibling, and like that would be worse. Whatever they're doing now is infinitely a better idea to just try to figure out what the next thing is for them. I respect that.
Yeah, we just want decades more of Avatar loving each other and making the music that you guys like to make.
We'll continue to love each other and hating the rest of you lots. Yeah.
That there is the perfect place to end. We've been going for 40 minutes. Johannes, thank you so much once again for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?